This video is showing a tool to edit the names of ProSteel groups and to check ProSteel groups visually. I'll show the check function first. We have to select the groups that we want to check. We check everything here. The tool allows us to make some settings. There's a setting use position numbers. If that's set, then when walking through the selection of groups, only the first of a set of identical groups is shown. Then we can set if a zoom is used for the groups that get isolated, and we can set the zoom factor, and we can set a time for the play function that the tool has. That's the time that an isolated group is visible. There are some text fields for information. The first one, that's the number of groups selected. Then for each visible group, it's the index, the type, and the group position numbers. There are buttons that allow to walk through the groups. We'll go to the first, go to the last, and we just can, go back and go from group to group. If I uncheck use position numbers, then we would get all groups. There's an option to mark groups. Use that again to mark groups in case you want to look at groups later, and then you could show only the marked groups, and we could, for instance, go to this group and show all groups and have the group in its context. There we can hide all groups except the group selected, and you see for a selected group you see the structure. Here there's a hierarchy of groups, there's subgroups inside of the group, and we could go inside of the group now using this button, and then we could cycle inside of the group. That's the main part and the other subparts, and if we continue, we would see the other subgroups. Okay, go back. The play function, there is a template function in here that allows us to select a template that was saved, and we'll select a template that has a time of 1 second, and the zoom scale factor is 2, so we'll just that gives us enough time to look at the parts. And you could always stop in between, and you can do whatever you like. The data is kept. You can change the display as long as you don't switch between edit and check or close the tool or regenerate. The data is kept in the memory and is usable. We could select a faster template and continue. That's faster now, and really quick would be using this one and just saying go. And we can, last group is reached, and we could go back. The speed depends on the calculation time that's needed. So it's the time between the calculation time that's really the time that the group is shown. Okay, I will go to the edit function now. I will get a ProSteel view and say zoom extends. We have to select the parts that we want to work with. I select these parts. The other parts get hidden. Also, the bolts are hidden because they are not grouped. The tool has a drop-down list with names that can get allocated. These names are read from a file that I show here. The entries in the file consist of an index, the group name, a number that defines what should happen with a group in positioning. If the group should get a unique number, if it may share a number with other identical groups, or if the positioning tool should ask what should happen with a group position number. And there's also a color index added to mark the groups. The last two entries in the group name list are A-type. A-type are all those types that a client of mine uses as standard parts, as standard groups, and if we look at one of them, the group position number starts with an A followed by 4 digits. The last entry is no-type, and no-type are all the groups that don't have a name that's in the list or whose name is not derived from a name in the list plus an extension, like grating 1000 by 1000 by 25. The tool has display functions that allow to isolate group types and to allocate names to group types and to check the group types. It has a set of filters that refer to the selected name from the list. All types is that the tool uses all names in the list. Type means that the type used is exactly a name in the list, and extension is that the group name is derived from a name in the list plus an extension. I will show the assignment of names now. I will make a standard ProSteel group name assignment, which is using the main part name. I will assign the names. We get a warning. If we look at this group, the group name is pipe 48.3 times 4, and that is the main part name. So it works. Because of all the names in the list, only grating, kick plate and pipe with an extension may be used as group names by ProSteel, we will look at these three types first. We'll use all types and we uncheck types, so there are only group names with extensions now used, and we say show only. What we see is handrails and gratings and kick plates, and we'll start allocating names from the list to these three types. We'll start with grating. We have to uncheck all types and we have to use the group type. And now we'll say show only, and we'll assign the name. We make a quick check. The group name is correct, it's grating, and we'll continue with the kick plates. Show only, assign, and the third entry is pipe. Show only, and we will assign the group name handrail. The only other entry that we have to look at now is no type, because all other groups should be no type, and I say show only, and there are a couple of handrails left in there, maybe because their main part is not a pipe, and we'll say assign to this one and to this one and that, and height, and we will continue with the grating frames, and we'll assign to those two and those two and this one and height. I'm not going to finish with the allocation now. I'm not doing that. The display functions can also get used to check the allocation. I'll show as an example. I'll restore everything, make all groups visible, and now I just check visually if, for instance, all handrails are allocated correctly, and also the gratings, height, and we see all gratings are allocated correctly. This is the editing part of the tool for ProSteel groups. If you're interested in other tools that we made, please have a look at our webpage. There you will also find contact information.